Hi everybody, this is Brian Seymour, Director of Instructional Technology for Pickerington Local School District, and this is Technology Snapshot number 6, where we're going to talk about some different apps that can be either paid or free apps that you can find for the iPad for ISO 7 or ISO 8. So the three apps that we're going to cover today are ClassDojo, which is a tracking, discipline, recording type piece of software. An app for younger grade levels called Endless 123. And then one of my favorite apps that I really love, it's an interactive book called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lessmore. So let's get started with ClassDojo. So ClassDojo is right up here, this crazy little monster guy. So as you open this up, you'll have to create an account. You can create an account on the web, which may be easier to enter in some kids' names and so on and so forth. But basically what you do is you come in here, you can create as many classes as you want inside of here. So if you want to create a new class, all you got to do is click on the plus button, enter your class name, enter in your grade, and you'll create a class. So I've already got a class created in here. The last class that I used to teach was Integrated Science. So click on Integrated Science, and now you've got a bunch of different buttons here. So you've got Start Class, Messaging, Check Reports, Edit your bubbles, and take attendance. So let's just start the class and I'll show you what it looks like. Then we'll come back to this and we'll make some changes. So to start class, you have all of these cool little monsters, and each one of these monsters represents a different student in your class. Okay, so I just added in a bunch of kids that I've had in previous years and so on. And with this now, you also notice that there's little bubbles, green bubbles and red bubbles. Obviously, green bubbles mean good things. Red bubbles mean bad good things. So let's say you had a class that you had some discipline issues with, and you wanted to use this to record discipline, okay? So let's say I've got this up here, and all of my kids are in here, and Daniel Garlib did something really bad, and I want to make sure I record that. So I can click on Daniel. And then here are now all of your different pieces, and these can all be changed. So positive ones on the top, negative ones on the bottom. So let's say Daniel was off task. So I can click here. All right, and now it gave Daniel a -1. And now let's say Emily did something good. She answered a question. I can record that there and keep track of it. Now, like I said, you can edit any of those that you want. You can make those be whatever you want. So you don't have to use this for discipline. You could use it for kids that answer questions. You could use it for formative assessment checks as you're going around asking kids questions. Did they get it? Did they not get it? So on and so forth. And this also does make noise as you do it. So a positive noise. Let's turn this up a little bit so you guys can hear it. So if Caitlin does something good, positive noise. If Alex did something bad, negative noise. So I've even seen this used as much as the teacher having this up in the front of the room and actually making the kids go and find theirs and enter in a good or a bad. And that gives them that engagement piece there as well. But you could use it very easily, being able to walk around, and as you're going from group to group, if they're working on something, ask them a question and change those around. So how do you change these? So if we go back here, go to Edit Bubbles. Okay. Actually, excuse me, this is editing bubbles for each kid. So you could reset the bubbles. So if you want to reset them back at the end of the day, you could go back in here, select all of them, reset the bubbles. You could go on to a new object. Okay. If you want to take attendance, you can take attendance. Okay, so record attendance. Let's say Alexa's not here, and let's say Emily's not here. So done. I've got attendance done. Obviously, we want to do that through Infinite Campus more than we want to do that through here. Messaging, you can actually send, if you've got email addresses, you can actually send emails through here. And check reports. You can actually do reports as a whole. Okay, so much is positive, so much is negative. You can do individual reports for the kids. Okay, obviously we don't have much in there right now because We just reset a whole bunch of it. Okay. As you go online, excuse me, I apologize. They changed this on me. You would need to go online to Classroom Dojo to actually change all of these pieces and parts down here. Okay, so you go into Classroom Dojo, you can make those changes. You can actually see more individual reports in Classroom Dojo as well. But once again, this is all completely free. You can even do this where you pick on a random kid. So Nick Newman would have to answer a question. And then I could say, okay, he did it. Pick on another random kid. Caitlin Hughes, your turn to answer a question, or however it is that you would want to do that. Okay, kids can actually also go in through and change up their little avatar, their little monster on here as well. But I think Classroom Dojo is probably one of the most engaging, most effective ways to actually be able to track where everything's at, and it's easy to do. It prints out for you. You can export stuff out into Excel, so you can see all those kinds of things. Very, very, very good, amazing app. Okay. So our second app for the day, second app for the day is Endless 123. This is going to be for our younger kids, probably kindergarten, first, second grade, or so on. There is endless numbers, there's endless alphabet, there's endless words, all kinds of things. There's a free version and there's a paid version. So what we're going to look at today is the free version. The free version only gives you so much, but if you get the paid version, which really isn't that much, then you can start to get other numbers. So if we click on number 1 here, get started.
1.
You can see the little number 1 there bouncing around, and what the goal is you want your kids then to be able to
1. Touch the monster's eyes to wake it up.
match it up there.
1.
And usually after each one, it gives a little picture, a little example. The kids love it. Watch them trying to ride on a unicycle. They do make sense for what it is that they're trying to do. So then we go here, and now we start to build.
2.
Okay. So now we want to drag the 1 to the 1, 2 to the 2.
1, 2.
Now here's the part that I like. Now look at this. Now we get into the math portion of it as well. So now we've got 1 plus 1.
Plus. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Touch the monsters. 1, 2.
So now, as you can see, it kind of builds upon the next level, and gives you, your nice little image. Uh-oh.
Tuttle was a bit scared when he found 2 skunks in the wilderness.
So then we go on, and obviously 3.
1, 2, 3.
So once again, we're trying to match these up, put them in order.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Once again, the math is here now.
2. 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 3. Touch the monster's eyes to wake it. 1, 2, 3. 3.
So that is Endless Numbers. And like I said, there's a paid version and a free version of this. There also is, if we go onto the App Store, and if you just do a search for Endless, there's a whole bunch of them. So there's Endless Alphabet, Endless Reader, Endless Numbers. You can buy them in a pack if you want. Those packs do get kind of expensive, but there are some free ones that you can get with those as well. That are so the one we just did is Endless Numbers, completely free. Okay. So those, I think, are going to be beneficial for our younger grade levels to be able to start to get some, especially with numbers. You get the numbers, you get the math. With the reading, you get reading and sight words and so on. The last app that I want to talk to you about, like I said, was one of my favorite apps. It's one of the first ones that I really found that I really saw the power of what the iPad could do, especially with reading with these kids. And it's this one here, and it's called The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lessmore. What this is this is a book that will be read to the kids that's interactive and allows the kids to become part of the book. So let's take a few minutes and I'll show you the first couple pages of this. So if we open up the book,
Morris Lessmore loved words, he loved stories, he loved books. His life was a book of his own writing.
you notice there are these little arrows that are coming up here?
After another.
Watch right in through here.
He would open it every
It means
morning
they want you to
and
do
write
something.
of his joys
So if you
and
actually go on the
sorrows,
iPad and
all
you
that
actually
he
move
knew
over,
and everything
I'm
that he
starting, I'm doing that. So if I stop, you notice it stops. Okay, now it's telling me to turn the page.
But every story has its
Now if I click on the
upsides.
buildings,
One day the sky darkened.
I'm actually flicking the buildings around.
The winds blew and blew.
So I'm spinning that.
Till everything Morris knew was scattered.
This is one of my favorite ones. Okay, wait for it. Wait for it.
Even the words of his book.
So you can actually write right on there.
He didn't know what to do or which way to go. So he began to wonder
And this
and
is
wonder.
cool. You can actually paint.
Then a happy bit of happenstance came his way. Other than looking down, as had become his habit, Morris Lessmore looked up. Drifting through the sky above him, Morris saw a lovely lady. She was being pulled along by a festive squadron of flying books. Morris wondered if his book could fly, but it couldn't. It would only fall to the ground with a depressing thud.
So if you click on Morris, he actually throws his book up in the air. So we'll do one more page.
The flying lady could tell Morris just needed a good story, so she sent him her favorite. The book was an amiable fellow and urged Morris to follow him.
So basically, without going through the entire book, this is some of the engaging types of books that we can have access to our kids to get. And to be able to be a part of the story, because I'm able to do things in that story as it's being read to me. Now, there is a way to also turn the voice off so that the kids could actually read it, but I think it's engaging having somebody else read that book to you. Okay? So those are our 3 apps for the week. So we talked about Classroom Dojo, and we talked about Endless 123, and the Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lessmore. I hope you enjoyed these 3, and we'll look forward to next week's Technology Snapshot number 7. Thank you very much.